Yes. Can you hear her? People at the experiment, can you hear what she's saying? Uh-huh. Hello. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. How to switch character, right? Character and moods, eh? Okay. Someone said there are people who are so much experienced when it comes to crying. In a scene, someone they said, now you're going to cry, and then someone remembers how they broke up. Someone remembers how they stole their money, and then they begin to cry. Uh-huh. Yes. You. What's your expectation?
My name is Sandra. I expect to learn. My expectation is I want to learn how to connect dots with other countries, how we can do a movie that will be watched in all the countries and they all feel comfortable to watch it. And then
How can I do a film? Her expectation is how do I learn? Or she needs to know more how to connect dots on the African continent and internationally. How do we spread our content to reach the what? The word is in the diaspora, eh? Okay. Yes.
I'm called Omona Masi Gracie. I'm a clinical psychologist. So my expectation today is to see how I can relate this to mental health. Yeah, that's...
Okay. How to relate this to mental health, okay? Yes.
My name is Karen, and I would love to know what makes an actor or actress unique, because they are very unique, but there is that uniqueness about them.
The uniqueness about some characters, okay? Like when there's an opening scene and the first face you see is Mr. Ibu, you know it's going to be comedy. And when you see it is Elba, okay? You know it's going to be action. So the uniqueness of the what? Okay. Uh-huh. Yes? Yes. What's your expectation? Yeah. We cannot hear you. You people, can you hear her? Okay.
Hi everyone,
You can
I'm
start.
Gloria Makula.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Together skills in acting.
To get the skills in acting. Okay. Please, I think we needed a bigger board. Skills in acting, eh? This is our 11th point. Yeah. Yes, boss. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other person before we move to something else? Yes. Go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To do production. How do you manage to do production, okay? Mm-hmm. Yes.
my name is Fiona.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an acting student here at SMARA.
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn more, to get more knowledge about acting.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to learn how to connect my mind,
Mm-hmm.
like before
Okay, how to transform. Okay, I think those are enough. How to transform from being a lover boy to a juju person, eh? Okay. Let me take. Yes. Mm-hmm.
My name is Marianne, producer Mama Wangu. So I'm aspiring producer. So being that after celebrating today is a great producer, I'd like to know more about
How to?
produce.
A great film. Okay. Okay, now. I know some of you don't want even to see me talking, eh? To speak the truth. But I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, our guest of honor, our great speaker. It's okay. Who is going to be taking us through a very wonderful master class for today. Peace. So, like I said, get out of your shell. Are we together? I know it takes effort, it takes a lot of sacrifice for you to leave what you're doing and come and join us here. But we know this is going to be a turning point in your life. Are we all together? Let us pay attention, let's learn, let's listen, let's ask as many questions as possible, let's get the contacts, make this time as valuable as possible. Okay, so protocol-wise, I will invite the well-known and the most experienced producer, and that is Chris O'Day, to come give us a word or two, and welcome our chief guest to give us the great master class of this very day. Chris, you're most welcome.
Okay, I didn't know I was supposed to come up. Hello, good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Are you guys ready for something much more than yesterday? My guys, look at all my guys here. But I didn't know I was going to come up. I was in a meeting. Oh, come on, guys, get it. All right, so cool. So, I don't know if it's a privilege for me to welcome this gentleman, but a lot of you realize what acting and filmmaking is because of this guy has spent 3 decades plus of his life creating beautiful stories. He's been a lover boy, he's been an arrogant bastard, he's been a twin, he's been a soldier, he's been a devil himself, he's been a recurring spirit over a universe. Like, I wonder what else is there to do. And in fact, I'm excited about what he's doing next. He's about to become a pastor. So like, at this year, I wants to do everything. I hope he has something. But the moment we got invited here, I told Humphrey that it was important that we allowed him have time to share the process behind the person. Because all we know is the person. But a lot of times we don't know. So you see him on Instagram, you see him on the shows, on TV, you get excited. But it's good to know the process behind the person, because what you know about him will fade away because it's just him being a star. But when you know the process behind this person, you can also recreate more of such acting finesse in Africa. When something is good, you replicate it. So this is a good venture, this is a good expression of art. And because I work closely with him, I've seen him magically create craft. And if you want to disrespect someone, get close to them. That's what they say. Because you see all the nonsense. But with this guy, we've been on this journey for 7 years. And the more I know him, the more I just respect what he has inside of him. I don't know if it's teachable, but this is one of our attempts to see if Ugandans can learn. So I saw a lot of you here were hungry yesterday. I felt when I got back to the hotel, I was exhausted. I felt somebody had removed all the virtues out of me. Please do the same today. Pull out your notepads, make these 3 hours exceptional, make it epoch for your life. Let people say that, what's today's day, 23rd? Let people say that on the 23rd of March, something happened to you, my friend. So I need us, with a standing ovation, bring up the award-winning, finest Nollywood actor and worldwide actor, friend of mine, partner of mine, Mr. Ramsey Noah. Please let's get up for him and get up on your feet, everybody. Get up on your feet, everybody. Is that the best you can clap for, Mr. Ramsey Noah?
We're going to have pictures afterwards. Everybody, phones down. Just listen. Just pay attention. Eh? What? No. For them. I'm talking about them, not them. Because they'll be concentrating more on the recording rather than what I'm saying. That's usually what happens. So it's fine. We're going to do some other our photos and pictures and videos together afterwards. There's time for that. So, if you came for producing yesterday and you're coming for acting today, where do you exactly belong? You know what I mean, right? But it's good to know that, okay, Chris, my partner, friend, colleague, shared with me how passionate and how passion-driven you are. And that matters a lot to me. It does. So, today, we'll be discussing acting, right? So, if you are interested, raise your hands. I'm trying to look for the one that's not interested. You better raise it well. You better raise it well. Okay, great pleasure. Nice, put it down. Now, let's get a bit more friendly. It's not a serious class. I don't know about you. I don't get to hear things when things are a bit too serious. It doesn't sit well. I don't know why. It just doesn't register in my brain. I like more fluid play, as you go kind of like style of doing things, listening, hearing, and paying attention, getting more interactive rather than too attentive, just more interactive. So we're just going to flow. We'll go with the flow and we'll do it as seamless as possible. I wish I could ask everybody's name, but by the time I'm done, the whole day would have been gone. Right? So we'll probably get to know each other one-on-one after this. Where do we start? Good question. I like that. Where did you start? Now, does that question appeal to everybody else? Do you want to know where I started? Fine. Why is it about me? It's like, oh my God, look at that guy over there. He's a celebrity, yeah? This one. All right. When I started filming in Nigeria, there isn't much that you can take home. And I'm sure you can say as much as well, like what's going on here in Uganda as it is. Back home in Nigeria, you couldn't tell your parents at the time that I want to be an actor. Go chop slap. It's like parents at the time would only go for professions that they felt was more dignifying. Doctor, pilots, engineers, thank you, and all that kind of stuff. Actors were looked upon as people who were just unserious-minded people back then by our parents. So I couldn't tell my mother that I was going into acting. It was a no-no, right? Then, as time went by, there were some class of people also in Nigeria at the time that had their nose in the air, that felt that actors, they felt like they were bigger, and acting didn't give anything. There were no remunerations. There was no good money. They don't even pay you. It was almost like you're doing it for free. So when that usually happened, I wasn't keen about any of those. I was more passionate about the art. I just loved the fact that, at the time when I watched Hollywood films, Indian movies, Chinese films, I loved the fact that I could do the same thing some of those actors were doing on TV. I didn't understand the details. Didn't go to school for it. There were no basic knowledge for me. Starting basic knowledge, there was none. So it was more like, well, let's see how it goes. So I got into the industry. At the time, we didn't have a vibrant movie industry. It was more like something you have at the moment, soap operas for television. We had in Nigeria at the time NTA, Nigerian Television Authority, right? And movie industry had not kicked off at the time, like solidly. We had movie industry, but it had fizzled out. It used to be very strong back in the 80s, like early 80s and all of that. But it was very dominant within the western side of Nigeria, the Yoruba circle, right? And they only shot in the Yoruba, the dialect Yoruba. But then after a while, they had movies in the cinema, but after a while, that fizzled out because they couldn't afford to, because at the time they used to shoot on reel. I don't know if you know anything about film reels. That's a technical term for cinematographers. So it was on film reel at the time. It became too expensive and then they couldn't handle it, so it fizzled out. And so there was no movie industry, but there was a TV industry. And then I went into what we call fortunes. Now this is my background and that's my growing up. And this was in my early 20s. So I got into Fortunes, was a TV soap opera at the time on Nigerian Television Authority, where I was playing the son of this wealthy man. So my name in the movie, my character name at the time was called Jeff Akin Thomas. And not knowing what I got involved in, I didn't realize what fame was. The only famous person I knew at the time was Michael Jackson. Like, everybody knew that's one I know that people just, when Michael just steps out, people just faint. People shout, cry, oh my God, Michael. So I think I was a month old in the TV soap opera, which only shows every Sunday of the week. So in a month, there's 4 times, right? By the 3rd week, I was so popular, I didn't realize. So I was just walking the street, my usual self, and then kids were running after me and say, oh my God, Jeff Akin Thomas. I couldn't handle it. So what the hell is wrong with you people? Come on, get out. Because I didn't know what it was like, that those things come with fame. Now, that is my typical background. And that's how I grew up. That's how I started. Now, when you think about it, see me looking, this was a bit after, this is like how I looked like in Fortunes at the time. Hungry looking guy. And you see, we say when alarm don't hear you. That's my local pidgin. This was when I was looking the part of, hungry looking and struggling to survive. This is my slight growth into my mature stage and what I become or what I became, right? So that's me. Now that's how I probably started. I started with the Fortunes. Fortunes, I did the pilot episode of Fortune in 1990. It came on air. No, I did the audition in 1990. We shot the pilot episode in 1991. It came on air. It blew. It was sort of like a big film. That was when home video started. 1992. But I was on TV in 1992, 93, 94, right? Then, after living in bondage, I went and I did a couple of films that never got to see the light of day until 1996 when I did Silent Night, which was one of the blockbusters in Nollywood at the time. And a couple of other movies followed suit. And I had a tagline, The Lover Boy, because I was always playing love. Yeah. It was very annoying. Like, every producer just felt, oh, you couldn't do anything better than just be a lover boy, just play love. Every time they write a story, as long as it's love, Ramsey just has to do it. So, you see Power of Love and a couple of other love titles. But here are my outstanding movies that actually propelled me into becoming a known figure in Nollywood and a superstar. So we did Dangerous Twins, which was one of the first film in Nollywood at the time where I played a dual character, and I played, me in the same film, in the same shot. And this was 2004, so several years after though. Several years after. In the 90s, there were several other movies. I don't want to go through all those details, If you care to know, you could research them and find out what my movies were like from the 90s till date. I'm just trying to share with you my growth so far, right? I had all of those, and these are some of the outstanding titles of movies that I did that they were blockbusters. And from there, we gravitated from DVDs, VCDs, to cinemas. I could give you the trajectory of that. In the 90s, it was basically VCDs. Do you know what VCD is? Fine, yeah. It was VCDs and DVDs, right? As a matter of fact, no, it was VCDs in the 90s. I can't even remember very vividly right now. It was VCDs, DVDs. DVDs was more in the early 2000s. And that transcended to, you go back to the other one. Okay, fine. These are all my, these are all my films back then.